Tate, Top G, he says a lot of wild ass shit and shit that's like insensitive and that massive amounts of people disagree with. He was just blanket banned, like just across every single place. You're smiling, nodding your head. There's
I heard about that. I didn't hear that.
Banned from every single platform that he was on, more or less, so all the biggest platforms that exist. And not only that, he had a course that the business or the company that transferred the money from the people paying for the course they shut him out.
Okay.
So he was no longer on any platform receiving money for his courses, being able to promote his courses, and bank accounts frozen. That's when it gets a little bit.
Dang.
So
interesting.
The kind of taking away of his livelihood with being able to transfer the money, the system to transfer money, and the ability to promote his biggest business. And then on top of that, the money that supposed to go into the bank accounts themselves have been frozen. So I guess my question is, does someone deserve that?
Yeah. I knew that was going to be your question. I was ready for it.
So someone does deserve being wiped out. Basically, somebody just hitting the off switch on him. And okay, so yes, right? And let me know why.
He's got family, right?
Yeah, I mean, a brother.
They can take care of him.
Okay. So
why were his bank accounts frozen?
Just they decided to turn his life off based on just how he was speaking.
You can do that?
He was saying, he gave a fucking interview, and he was like, in real time he was watching them destroy him just one by one. Just it's like explosions going on in his cell phone. He was the biggest thing in the world. For like 3 weeks, he was more searched than Donald Trump and Kim Kardashian combined.
Jeez.
And basically, the powers that be in all of the different platforms simultaneously hit the off switch on him.
I don't know how they can freeze his money, though.
That's
not legal, is it?
I don't know. But there are powers. Basically, as soon as anything goes into the digital space, you are at the mercy of the controllers of that space. That's why they want all money digital. They want your whole life to be digital, because they can then hit the off switch on you. They have the power to turn you off.
That's scary.
Yeah, and that's what happened to Tate. So back to the question, I guess. Was it deserved to be turned off like that based on him just saying wild shit about stuff?
No. Some people deserve that, and I'm happy that it happened to him, but I don't think that should be legal, or don't see how that is legal at all. And that sucks for him, but good thing he sucks already. So the bans and everything on all social media, I agree with that. I think he just absolutely
cut his tongue off.
Deserves. Yeah, absolutely. He's been doing nothing but talking out of his ass. So all they did was put the plug, and I think that's great. But the only thing I can't really understand is why they would freeze his accounts, his bank accounts.
Yeah, I mean, that's when it starts getting really fucking dark, because it's like, I can't speak freely on these platforms because it's a privately owned company. Okay, word. But when the majority of all public discourse takes place on these platforms, then there needs to be the conversation of free speech, because this is now our mode of communication. This is the predominant mode of communication now, is being on these platforms, talking to each other, saying our opinions, whatever.
Yeah.
So
There's a ton of shit that we can't even say, though.
so much shit, because when you step into a company, the freedoms that they're on the not commandments, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
The government's version of the commandments are
Yeah.
freedom of speech is number one.
Yeah.
And the ability to, the function of open communication and discourse was so fucking important at the beginning of the country. They would have debates, open debates, like public, for the public, of where two people with extremely opposing ideas and views come together and they see which one can win or which one makes the most sense, and everyone can watch that openly and decide for themselves.
Right.
And now we're at the place where that happens on the internet, but you don't have the ability to sit there and watch and judge for yourself what side is right. It's being taken from you.
Yeah.
That there are people that we don't know, that don't have faces, that decide what is seen and what is heard. So far, it's been agreeable to large groups of people that, okay, yeah, he can't talk because like he's saying all this shit about this stuff that I don't think he should be saying. So that's cool. But I mean, there's people that don't feel that way, but it's just like, I don't think that there's going to be, I think the line is going to continue to move to where things are going to be so restricted that freedom of speech doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, they banned Donald Trump on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, what?
And he was like a sitting president.
Yeah.
And so
Can't even speak, at least through Twitter.
yeah. So it's like
That's
basically
crazy.
when you're operating in these companies, you're stepping into a dictatorship. That freedoms that, as you understand them outside of these companies, they don't exist anymore. And then you are now under the behest of these people, whatever their intentions are, whatever they feel is going to be,
Yeah.
manifest.
Right.
And I don't know, it's just like, this is sort of scary. What should Tate be able to talk? Should he not be able to talk? It's based off your biases and how you see the world. I think you should let him speak. I think that people make movies. People make horror movies where someone's being hacked up with a fucking machete and put in a plastic bag and buried. And people absorb these images. And there's all types of wild people openly on YouTube talk about children being changed chemically and altered physically with surgeries. That's openly discussed.
Yeah.
And that's affecting the youth, I feel like, in a worse and more direct way than what Andrew Tate's doing with words. So it's like, it does become a discussion of, if that's not okay, then why is this okay?
Right. Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know? If that's not allowed, why is this shit that's really fucked up allowed?
Yeah. Yeah. No, they've been trying to take away, they still do try to take away our freedom of speech. And if you say anything they don't like, it's flagged or taken down, whatever. It's very controlled, and it's scary that these people have all the control over what we're allowed to view.
Yeah.
It's fucking,
And it's scary that it's gotten to the point where not only can you not speak in these places where it's like the only place that you can be heard, or that's where people go to listen. You can't be in those places anymore. Not only that, but your words were so bad to the people that are behind the curtains pulling strings. They didn't like your words so fucking much that they froze your money.
yeah, that doesn't make sense. That's pretty crazy. I don't get that.
Right. But you're cool with it up until that point, more or less,
Yeah.
like, because, you know.
Because I just feel like since everyone gets banned, you know, but I don't agree with it in the first place, like overall. But with him specifically, I don't necessarily disagree just because it's happened to so many people and that's just what happens. Like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But it's true. They've been doing that for a long time where they just silence people. And yeah, it's sad and it's scary.
Yeah, we're just ripping people's tongues out,
Yeah.
essentially. You can no longer speak
Yeah.
here. So, I mean, hopefully, capitalism kicks in and a platform that's just as good as YouTube happens, where you can freely speak within reason.
Right.
Still.
Yeah.
I won't even, there are things that are really fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be discussed.
Yeah. It's like somebody's on camera of like talking about wanting to go rape children or something. It's like, yeah, take care of that.
Okay.
You know?
Take those persons.
There is a line.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
yeah, I guess the obscure, like fucked up shit is like the question of where the line should be.
Mm-hmm.
Who gets to draw it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you follow the money, you'll find out.
Exactly. And it's like, we don't know these people. That's another thing that's scary about it. The deciders. Who are they? What are their backgrounds? What were their childhoods like? What are their biases? We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about these people that decide.
It's not like we're electing them.
Yeah.
Like, we do. That's crazy.
Nah, and they have more power than any elected official.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, seriously.
What do you do?